Welcome to Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. This podcast explores the transition to net zero and the systems driving real change in how we move, live and power our world. Every week I sit down with the people leading that change, those offering insight, innovation and impact in many ways people don't fully see until they hear their stories. If you're ready for real conversations that inspire action and drive change, please like this video, subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey. And let's cut through the noise and build a better future together. Hi everyone and welcome back to this week's episode of Electric Evolution. Today, do you know, every time I get somebody on these days, I get some really lovely people. And I have definitely got a really lovely guy on today. It's Craig Marsden and he is the CEO of a company called EVCI Global. Craig, it's so lovely to have you here. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and hello listeners and watchers.
It's funny, isn't it? Because we kind of met at Everything Electric a few weeks ago and I was introduced to you by the wonderful Tracy Cairns, who is Head of EV Infrastructure for Welsh Government, and she told me how wonderful you were. And of course, you know, yeah, you've got to go with Tracy anyway. So, and we just got chatting and got on so well. It's been a delight to get to know you, honestly.
Tracy's absolutely fantastic, and it's been lovely getting to know you as well. But whenever people seem to meet me, it seems to be on a Friday when I'm kind of at the end of a very long and strange week. And the day that we actually finally met up together, I was absolutely exhausted, so you'd have to forgive me for that. But yeah, it's been lovely getting to know you as well, and I feel massively welcomed into the EV space, really. And it's been quite some journey to get to where we are, but you know, we're getting on with it.
It's nice. It's, you know, the stuff that we're going to be talking about that EVCI do is so needed, and actually until you find out what Craig does, you won't realise how needed it is. So I think that's the important thing, isn't it?
I think that what we do, people have and had absolutely no idea whatsoever that there is a problem, or is it even a problem? I don't think people even think about what it is that we do.
No, exactly.
Without prompting.
But so I'm going to leave it on that point because I basically want to kind of go through a little bit of your background, because you've done a number of different things which are, I wouldn't say they're all interrelated, but they do seem to be quite interrelated. Do you want to just give us a little bit of a little summary of your past?
Yeah, sure. Everything is one way or another interrelated, generally around vehicles and the vehicle space, if you like. So apart from the woodlands that I do, I'd say everything is definitely vehicles related. So the things that tie in the best, I suppose, with what we're doing now is I used to head a company called Carbon Software Technologies, and we used to rewrite software for vehicles so that they were a bit more efficient on fuel and better CO2 reduction, I'd say, and particulates as well. And we did a tracking system that went along with that so that you could see the benefits. And the biggest contract that we had was with Carillion, who are now obviously defunct, but we reduced the emissions on 2,700 of their vehicles, and I think we ended up with about 3,300 in total. So that was quite a big contract. What else have we been embroiled in? All kinds of fantastic things. We were doing battery recycling, which was great, because the recycling came along from working with Go Outdoors. So I was with Go Outdoors recycling. I've gone off one out here, haven't I? So, but I was recycling all of Go Outdoors return stock, everything from a small compass up to the biggest of tents that they sold. And alongside that, then we started to recycle batteries as well from UK airports. But sadly, COVID wiped out both of those businesses overnight. So that was the end of them. And then this was like a progression from that, really. So I'm always looking for different opportunities. And our founder, Lee Bear, came to me with this, and we had a good discussion over how we thought it should run. And we set out last May to start charger testing and to see what the results were like from the chargers in the wild. And it's been a very strange and enlightening journey for me, because when he came to me and said, you know, EV chargers aren't regulated in the same way the petrol pumps are. I couldn't believe what I was hearing, to be honest with you. And it was only when I started charging them, I was like, actually, we're onto something here. But there you go. Anyway, I've kind of let the cat out the bag there, and that wasn't my intention whatsoever. And the other thing that I do in my spare time is look after the woodlands where I live. So I'm surrounded by private woodlands. I don't think all of my neighbours are particularly pleased about the private woodlands that we have to maintain, but it is part of where we live. So I look after those in every which way, shape, and form in my spare time, which
And
I don't have anymore.
so you call it, so I was looking on your LinkedIn profile, and you talk about the the importance of environmental stewardship, and that
Yeah.
just seeing that it links into all of the things and the kind of person that you are. I've kind of got to know you as, do you know what I mean? The kind of really kind, thoughtful person who actually gives a crap about the planet.
I give a crap about a load of different things, and the planet's one of them. And I was an early adopter for EVs, so I had my first EV back in 2013, and I was trying to do
Gosh.
my bit for the planet back then. But when you talk about charging infrastructure back then versus today, I literally bought my, it was a BMW i3 Rex I bought, which is the one with the little engine. And I bought it in London. And once the charge had gone, driving home, it was a 250-mile drive. I tried to charge it in a few petrol stations on the way home and service stations. I had absolutely zero luck with that. So I was basically filling it up with petrol as much as I can't even remember what it held. It was like £10 worth of fuel, maybe.
Oh my
So you'd
God.
fill it up and then you'd be able to drive along with your little range extender buzzing away at 50 miles an hour on the motorway. Got home, had the charger fitted at home, charged the car overnight, it was fine. But I never once successfully, in all the time I had the car, I never once successfully charged away from home. And then as you moved on and things have progressed, I can't believe the difference in the charging infrastructure that we have today versus how absolutely diabolical it was back then. So I think the amount of charges and the ease at which we can charge these days is so much better than it was back then, you know.
But we talked about this before we started recording, didn't we? About your founder had a conversation with the National Standards Authority of Ireland, and this,
Yeah.
like you said, this is where it kind of came from, about this lack of kind of standards. But it's not the standards that I was thinking of. It's kind of it is the phrase, and I've had to write this down so I don't forget. Metrology standards, is that right?
Yeah, and weights and measures. So if you go to a petrol station with your liquid fuel car, you go to a petrol pump and the petrol pump is regulated by weights and measures. So if you have an under delivery of fuel by anything more than 0.5%, then that fuel pump would be closed. If you have an over delivery of anything more than 1%, then that fuel pump will be closed as well, and it would have to be then recalibrated, and until it was correct, it wouldn't be opened.
Oh my
Whereas
word.
whereas EV chargers don't have this. The public network EV chargers, there's no regulation in place to ensure accuracy. So I don't think anyone's deliberately gone out of the way not to be accurate. But there's a massive variance in accuracy in the marketplace with EV chargers, and that's where we were born from. So so NSAI in Ireland came to our founder, said to him, "This is a time bomb waiting to happen. We need to know how to test these chargers," and so on it goes. And then we took it upon ourselves to start forging forward with that, and then we've done a lot of testing since that time, and here we are.
And you're now kind of putting together. You're sort of you've you've got a grant, haven't you, with MPL, which is the National Physical Laboratory, and they are kind of metrology specialists, aren't you? Aren't that? Get my teeth in.
Yeah,
Metrology specialists. I don't know why I can't speak today.
right.
But you've got a specific aim with MPL, haven't you?
Yeah, so we've entered in for a grant, and so we're on the final leg of the grant funding application, and we've applied to do a joint project with the National Physical Laboratory, which is to put a framework agreement around for testing the accuracy of EV chargers. So it's high power EV chargers, AC chargers, vehicle to grid charging, and EHGV charging as well. So hopefully we'll have some capability to be able to start charging megawatt testing soon. So that's in the pipeline. Fingers crossed we get the final round of funding, but it'd be fantastic to work with them. The people we've worked with at the National Physical Laboratory have been absolutely fantastic today. Very, very collaborative, just lovely people, and they're really excited. When we talk to them, it goes, it's just science and it's just fantastic, and we can't wait to get our hands on the kit and so on it goes. So I've got a meeting with them in a couple of weeks as well. So before the actual groundwork goes in, if you like, we're going to go out and do a bit of charger testing, a bit like you and I are doing on Wednesday, and
We are
the
doing
other
that
people
this
we've
week.
done. I can't wait. It's just going to
Oh,
be the
it's going to be
best
so
day.
much fun. So just to tell everybody, so Craig and I, and we will kind of explain, got to explain what this is, but Craig and I are going out on, it's car EVOCI, aren't we?
I'd say it's car E, so it's car E as in the big E because it's electricity, and then OK. So I think it's more like car E OK
You
rather
know,
than, and it is definitely a play on word. We're aiming for car E OK somehow, one way or another. But go on.
and I was going to say, and the aim is, so we're going to probably meet up in Oxford, aren't we?
I think
Somewhere
so, yeah,
around there.
looking that way. Yeah.
He's coming all the way down from blooming Liverpool, so I didn't want him going down to the place that everybody else wants to go down to because that just seems ridiculous. But we're going to go around a number of different charging hubs, DC specifically, and actually have a look at what they can do. So let's talk about what you do when we go on this because we're going to do a
Are
bit
you
of singing
okay?
as well, aren't we? Because
Well,
so you used to be in a
I've heard.
choir, didn't you? Did you used to be in a
Yeah,
choir?
so I was in a choir, yeah. So when I was a lot younger, before my voice broke, for want of a
Right.
better word,
And I was in a
I was in the,
band. So
yeah, I was
between
in our
us, we
local.
can do a bit of singing because nobody's done any singing with you yet. Because nobody's been out and done, they've gone out and done the charger testing, but they've not done any singing yet, have they?
We haven't now, and I'm quite surprised at that. But you do start. What happens is you start talking about it. You start doing the charger. You look at the analysis of what we've gathered from them, and I think people are just massively interested in that more than they are singing with me.
Yeah, well, we
So
can have
there
a
you
bit of
go.
both because I am interested in both of these. So you have, and without giving all your trade secrets away, you have a way of um, ac hooking up to the charger to work out whether that charger is giving. Say, like I kind of said this to you, didn't I? It feels like, if you pay £10 for a charge, you're getting £10 worth. It's a bit like your
Yes.
fuel, isn't it? Your wet fuel, like you said. If you put ten
Yeah.
pounds of petrol in and you get £8, that's not right, is it? So
No.
this is kind of what we're looking at for the charging, isn't it?
Absolutely. So what we have is what would be described loosely as a man in the middle unit. So basically, we plug our unit into the vehicle or into a load bank, and then we plug the electric vehicle charger into our unit. We then run it for a specified amount of time, and we look at the kilowatt hours that's been delivered by the charger, and we compare that to what our extremely accurate metering unit has said that we've had, and that gives us a margin of difference, or well, it's probably not the best way to put it. Your margin of deviance. So it gives you what the charger's given you and what our equipment's given us. And then we compare the two, and then we give you a report to tell you where you're at, which can be.
So so I'm assuming it's not just saying whether it's under. It's like you said about the weights and measures. It's saying whether it's over as well. So that whatever that tolerance is.
It's telling us what's been delivered, and sometimes that can be an over delivery, sometimes it can be an under delivery, and sometimes it can be absolutely perfect or as close to perfect as you'd expect when you're measuring with electric. So the biggest deviances we've had, I suppose, and these aren't typical by any stretch of the imagination, but the biggest over delivery I've had was around 30%. So I'd
Oh
asked for,
wow!
so I'd paid for 10 kilowatts of electricity, and I got 14 and a bit. And that was backed up with
Blimey!
the state of charge in the car as well. But obviously, our metering's far more advanced and accurate than the state of charge indicator is in the vehicle.
Yeah.
The biggest under delivery where we got less electricity than we paid for, we'd paid for 10 kilowatts effectively, and we got 6.3 kilowatts. So that was a 37% under delivery.
Get out of
But
town.
it's a lot. But to be fair, they're just they're massive outliners. There's clearly something massively wrong with those charges. They're not anything like typical. Whereas other ones that I'd say more typical, you might get 6 or 7% under delivery. There are certain networks that say that give a positive delivery all the time, so they're always giving you a little bit more than you've paid for, which is quite nice as a consumer. But I'd imagine if you're spending £25 million a year on your electricity bill and you're over delivering by 0.5% all the time, that's quite a lot of money you're giving away each year.
I mean, it's a bit like the food industry, isn't it? So I've kind of done some kind of auditing type work with the food industry for different food companies in the past, and it's kind of I used to run examinations for apprentices and stuff like that, and a lot of them came through the food industry, and some of the issues were with the tolerance on their weights and measures. So, for example, and I'm not saying this is one of the companies, but say like you get like a Mr. Kipling's Bakewell tart that actually is kind of, even if it's only like 5 grams more, that's about how much money that they're losing as an
Correct, yeah.
organization, isn't it? Because actually that those weights and measures are so important. It's not like, kind of being a little home baker like I was years ago, and kind of selling my gluten-free cakes. This is a massive blooming manufacturing facility. So what I was going to say was for them, for kind of like the like somewhere like kind of Mr. Kipling or whatever, they had people going out or just going on the lines to double check all their kind of weights and measures. Why is nobody, like you said about petrol, why has nobody actually realised that this is a thing in charging?
I've no idea. I think it was probably down to the speed at which they were rolling out the networks. Somewhere along the line, someone said it doesn't matter whether they are or they're not. And I mean, from a governmental side rather than CPOs. And at the end of the day, they just wanted as many charges in the ground as they could possibly get as quickly as they could. And by the way, that is definitely a guess. It's not a fact in any way, shape, or form. Um,
No, don't
and I
worry.
think, and for some reason, it's never been followed up on. And there's a lot coming through the pipeline through Europe and so on it goes. And in Germany, you've got the ISRIC, and in California, you've got a fantastic regime over there where they're testing to 1% of what it should have been as it came off the factory. So there's definitely headway being made, but it is a very slow moving target at this moment in time, I'd say.
It's beneficial though, isn't it? To kind of, I was just thinking then, and I scribbled it down. Like if every time somebody charges their vehicle, you lose £1 because you're
Yeah.
over delivering by £1, and you have a million charges on that. Say like one charger on a hub. That's just on one. It's £1 million a year, isn't it? Just
Yes.
from if that's how much they're losing,
Yeah.
and that
Which is,
tolerance isn't managed, then it's madness, really, isn't it? They've got to it's got to be changed. So this is brilliant what you're doing.
it's mind blowing, but it's good for both parties. So there'll be CPOs that are at the end of the day leaching electricity, but there's also customers that are being under delivered with their electricity as well. So I'd hope that it'll all balance itself out and everyone will get a better deal out of it at the end of the day. Because we want to see the CPOs prosper, and we also want to see
Of
customers
course.
getting a fair charge and getting what they pay for.
So does this also go back? 'Cause we talked about this before we started recording, didn't we? Does it go back to the manufacturer? So the manufacturer of that hardware, so how does it work with them? Should it be something that it's not just the charging network's responsibility? It's the manufacturer to make sure that it's as near as damn it when it goes out. But you can't always say that, can you?
There's a number of factors that will determine the accuracy of the unit before it's ever put in the ground, but also once it's put in the ground, the journey it's taken to get there, the weather conditions over 7 years of being sat out in bad weather and so on it goes, natural drift. There's a whole multitude of different reasons. But ultimately, no one was told in the beginning you need to have something that's very, very accurate. That's never been a stipulation. So you can't blame the CPOs or the manufacturers really. It's just literally what can we do moving forward, and what we can do moving forward is we can tell you which ones are accurate, and that's the tops and bottoms of it. I can't say anything about the ones that aren't, but generally in California, for example, your EV charger as it rolls off the production line has to be accurate to 1%. But once it's been installed into the ground, then it's okay for it to be 2%. And I think that's kind of fair because things can get knocked out of alignment, such as your CTs and so on it goes, down to groundworks maybe, but who knows what all the different things are. All I know is I'm the MOT tester, if you like. I'm not the garage that's going to
Yes.
repair the
Yeah,
vehicles.
you're my piano
And
tuner because
that's
if I buy a piano and it's been delivered and it gets delivered because we have got a piano in the room that I'm in at the moment,
okay.
but you kind of get it delivered. It could be tuned, couldn't it, when it leaves the manufacturer? But
Yeah.
actually, once it's delivered, it could be totally out of tune, or there could be something like you say because of different conditions and various stuff like that. But why is it? So I suppose my question about what you just said about the 2%, how is it
Yeah.
allowed to be 2% when
Once
it's
it's
in the
commissioned.
ground?
I couldn't tell you the answer to that question, but it's something I'm hoping to research with the National Physical Laboratory, because what they're saying is part of the commissioning process for every EV charger should be there's a final test to ensure that it's accurate before people are allowed to use it. And that's kind of what we're aiming for in the network that we're putting together.
So what you've done as EVCI, you've got like a diamond standard, haven't you? So you've
Yeah.
been going round different chargers and recognizing that tolerance on the charger. You said that you thought I'd be bored. You know, you said this when we were before we started recording. You were saying, "Oh, this is going to be really, it's a boring conversation," but it's not because actually it's really important and I'm a bit of a geek. People know me. They've been listening for a while. They know I'm a bit of a geek anyhow when it comes to stuff like this. But it is kind of like the diamond standard is kind of like the way that you can prove that your charger is delivering what it's meant to be delivering. How did that come about in the first place?
Well, the Diamond Standard accreditation literally came from how do you differentiate in the marketplace which chargers are accurate and which ones aren't? Because you could have a row of 10 chargers and three of them might be really accurate and seven of them mightn't be, and so on it goes. You might have a row of 10 chargers and they're all really accurate. And that depends on lots of different factors, to be fair. So what we wanted was something that if my mum was out charging, what would my mum be looking for? And what I'd say to my mum is look for a charger station that either has on each individual charger some sort of plaque, and preferably on the totem pole outside, a sign to say and a decal to say these chargers are accurate. Please come in, and it'll all be good. And that's where the Diamond Standard accreditation badge came from, if you like. So we decided that's something that's physical and visible. You can easily see it. There's no ambiguity. You do know for a fact because you, like I say, you could have three chargers all looking identical. The first one could give you an extra 30%, which is great as a consumer, but terrible if you're a CPO. The middle one is dead accurate, so you're getting a fair charge and they're getting fairly costed. And then the last one might be under delivering by 37%, in which case the CPO's happy, I'd guess, but also not, by the way, because every CPO I've spoken to, not one of them have said that they want to be under delivering or over delivering.
No.
And hats off to them for that. So it's quite difficult to tell by looking at a charger at the end of the day if it's going to be accurate or not. And even if it's been fantastically certified in the factory to the nth degree, once it's put into the ground, it then needs to be looked at and evaluated before it's commissioned.
So so for the diamond standard, does that mean that, like you said about doing the MOT, like a sim equivalent to an MOT,
Yeah.
Does that mean that every year you'd have to go round to all of the chargers, or does that actually mean that every year they have to self-submit? How would it
Well, there's
work?
no self-submission, so you can't verify your own charger network. The good
It's
thing
marking
about
your own
us is
homework if you do it like that,
yeah,
isn't it?
correct. You can mark your own homework. Well, we're fully independent, and it's all that we do. We don't do anything else. We don't check for anything else. It's just accuracy. That's all we're there for. Charger speed, because it has been mentioned about charger speeds and charge curves and stuff, but it's just too big it's like a Pandora's box then, isn't it? Whereas for us, what we do, and it's our best practices, if you like, is all about EV charger accuracy, and that's it. I want people to feel secure, safe, and happy. Not secure and safe, they're the wrong words, so I
I
don't
know
know
what
why
you
we get rid of
mean.
that, but take that out. I want people to feel like they can trust the charger that they're using, that it's going to give them what they've paid for. That's it.
So when we're talking about that kind of, so if you're saying that once it's installed and it can't be commissioned until it's actually had that metrology test, the weights and measures test, as it
Yeah.
were, then could would preventative maintenance actually help moving forwards? Because can the charging network, if they, because this is the thing, isn't it? It's a bit like, and I use lots of different analogies. You probably noticed, like your washing machine. Not everybody gets their washing machine maintained, but when it goes wrong, then you end up paying a hell of a lot of money. Or you MOT for your car. You've got to have your car MOT to make sure it's roadworthy. But actually, I don't see lots, and I might be. And I'm sorry if you're a charging network, and I'm saying you disagree with me, you can shout at me or write in. But I don't see lots of preventative maintenance going on to stop that.
I,
Would that help what you're doing? As in,
I I honestly can't answer the question because we don't have enough of an interaction over enough years yet to
mm,
understand what the problems are. So I think as we go along and people are changing parts on these chargers and they are becoming more accurate again after that, we'll start to work out when things do need to be changed in a timely
mm,
fashion, if you like, and can help with that. If something major's changed on the charger, it'd have to be recalibrated or just calibration tested again, if you like. So if you change the lead, let's say your lead got cut off and you replace the lead, I'd expect it to be recalibrated after that,
yes,
or
of
any
course.
major parts of it, of course.
I suppose as and when this becomes regulated, that means that, like you said, the standard will be, no commissioning until kind of these checks have been done.
Yeah, and that's the plan by the MPL, but we'll see how that rolls downhill, if
Mm,
you like, the weights and measures. But it makes sense. You do it with anything else in wet fuels, for example. You can't just put a pump in and say, oh, it's MID certified, it'll be great. It doesn't work that way.
what do you reckon? I mean, I know this might be a finger in the air, but what kind of timescale do you reckon for, to actually put this in place? I know you're kind of going through the final stages of the grant with MPL, but you're out and you're talking to the charging networks and what have you. But do you reckon we're talking a couple of years before they kind of add something, kind of put regulation in place?
It's kind of looking at 2027 at this moment in time, but I wouldn't like to bet on it. So at
Okay.
this moment in time, we're helping a number of CPOs evaluate their network so that they understand the risk that they're open to, or not open to, depending on the network as well.
Yeah, because like you probably, like you said, you've got a variety of different tolerances coming across, haven't you?
Correct. And at the end of the day, the MPL could turn around, or anybody else in government could turn around and say, we want 5%, we want 1%, we want 25% as a margin of error. And at this moment in time, we've no idea where that's going to land with them. And all I did was I looked at the different error tolerances that you had, and I went for what I believe to be the most fair and lenient, which is 2%.
So okay, so the diamonds, going back to the diamond standard then. What level of tolerance did you say that you're looking for to get that diamond standard?
We're looking at 2% plus or minus. And I think that's a really fair place to be. So some of the chargers are coming out with the factory with an MID meter built into them. But just because you have mid-metering inside the machine doesn't necessarily mean that the full system is MID approved. Some of them are massively accurate and some of them just aren't massively accurate. And the most accurate ones tend to have a visible meter where you can see. So you've got your normal screen that you see, and then further down will be a small portal with a small meter in, and you can see the actual electricity that's been delivered to your vehicle there. And they tend to be massively accurate, but I've only seen probably 10 in the United Kingdom, whereas they're far more prevalent when you're in Germany and so on it goes.
But they're the countries. They're one of the countries that are regulated. Then,
Yeah,
yeah.
Germany is massively regulated in lots of different ways, not just the accuracy as well. So
And,
they're
and
regulated. Go on, sorry.
go on, no, they're regulated. What? Sorry.
They're regulated for the billing systems and all kinds. It's absolutely watertight over there. They had a problem a number of years back they called Pluggate, where people were getting misbilled and it was just a horrible mess. And luckily, they got on top of it over there.
And that's always a good thing, right? So, MID. What does MID stand for?
It's the Measuring Instrument Directive. So
Yeah.
whenever you measure anything, it was generally put through the MID, and that would be a standard for you to apply for or to look for towards.
So okay, so it's mostly the charging networks that you'll be working with, I'm assuming.
Yeah.
Are there any other partners that you're kind of working with or going to be working with?
At this moment in time, we're talking to a few charger manufacturers as well, and I think they'd
Mm,
like us
mm,
to start evaluating the charges when they've been put in the ground as per the MPL's suggestion. I think it's just a case of getting ahead of it as much as you can, or just wanting to be the best of the best, I suppose, because it's a badge of honor at the end of the day. If you're accrediting your charger sites, it's a good thing to have. And we try to make it as easy as possible for people to understand which ones are the good and fair charges, I suppose.
And I was going to say, to me, it feels like this is going to help. Like you said about your kind of early experiences with charging. This is going to help drive a trust, isn't it? Because you want to kind of make sure that when you go to a charger that it has got that, and you are getting what you pay for.
Absolutely. It's just about fairness at the end of the day. Tops
Mm,
and bottoms of it. It is. This is what you've paid for, and this is what you've got. Plus or minus 2%. I should put a little star at the end of that, shouldn't I? But you can't start out with a network that hasn't had any sort of validation around it and then say all of a sudden, oh, you need to be 0.1% accurate
yeah,
overnight. That's just not
yeah.
fair. So what we're trying to do is just give the consumer a fair badge that they can look for.
So how do you see the diamond standard kind of evolving over the future? Kind of what do you want? What would you like to see over the next
I'd like
couple
to
of
see us
years? Mm?
diamond accreditation, all kinds of different things, as well as charge points. So it could be car tire inflators or anything. The idea being to expand us out into other areas that aren't just EV charger networks, really. But right now, what we'd like to start seeing is obviously people signing up to us, our badges being here, there, and everywhere, so people just get that fair charging experience. And then who knows where we'll end up. But once regulations in place, I think that it'll be, well, people just won't have any option. They'll just have to sign up for it whether they like it or not, really, which
Mm.
isn't the best way to sign up for something, really, is it, when you're forced to do it? So we're trying to give people a halfway house where they can evaluate what they've got in the ground right now,
Mm.
know where the losses and the pluses are, and then we can take it from there.
But I
Fingers
was I
crossed.
was just I was just thinking about the conversations that I've been having lately with kind of local authorities, especially about their kind of their networks and because the other thing is that, especially with local authorities having revenue sharing agreements, because the charging network does a lot of, does the install and manage and monitoring. I mean, it's kind of in there. It's a good thing for if it's in their best interest, isn't it, for a local authority to be able to see this, especially if you've got revenue sharing happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Plus, there's the other side, which is if they're charging their own vehicles, they want to make sure that they're spending the public purse responsibly as well.
There is that.
And there are other things in the pipeline as well for the future, but we're definitely not at this point yet. But we're talking about the carbon credits as well, that side of it. So if you've got a regulated charger that's giving out what it's supposed to be giving out, we might be able to claim back for carbon credits, but that's definitely not today.
So will you explain
Yeah.
what would that?
No, I can't explain it. That's what I said. It's not for today. That's definitely not a today project, but I can bring somebody else on to go into
No,
carbon
no, no,
credits
no,
as
no.
well.
It sounds really interesting. It really does. Who would you like to be collaborating with moving forwards then? Besides me, of course.
Well,
Besides
well,
us.
we're on that. Well, to be fair, we're talking to more CPOs than I can deal with at this moment in time, reasonably. And we're also got a couple of councils on the charge with us as well. So right now we're kind of running towards being overwhelmed, but we'll get through it. So, well, I was out staff training last week, so I'm wearing literally 18 different hats, it feels like, at this moment in time, and I'm trying to get more people on board for us to get on with the job and all the work that we've got at hand. So it's quite some undertaking at this moment in time. But I suppose, yeah, more charge point operators that we speak to, the better. And at the end of the day, we are collaborative. We're not trying to make anyone out to be good or bad or otherwise. It's just literally have a chat with us. I'm not hardware. I can buy cake. What else can I do? As you'll find out on Wednesday, I like giving people plenty of coffee and cake.
Oh no, that's always good. But you're driving all over the place, aren't you? I mean, you've been doing a lot of exhibitions lately, just getting around everywhere. But I suppose the main thing is for people to be able to see what you're doing, and that's what I'm really looking forward to on Wednesday. Actually looking at, because you said to me one of the first times we spoke that the kit that you're using to do this, it's advanced kit, isn't it? It's not like something you're going to get from blooming a hardware store. This is kind of like proper, kit to kind of make sure that what you're seeing is blooming accurate.
Yeah, it's metrology standard, and it's 0.1% accuracy level. So you're talking extremely sensitive equipment, to say the least. And it is great, and I think it's just good for people to see it with their own two eyes as well, because I can talk about figures all day long, but I think when you come out and see us actually doing it in the field, if you like, and I think it's a different kettle of fish. So that's why I wanted to get people out, and that was the whole idea of where car karaoke came from. However you say, at the end of the day, it's supposed to be car karaoke, but it's karaoke, was to take people out who have an interest in what we do, so that they can see for themselves how we do it and the way that we do it and the differences out there in the marketplace. Obviously, everyone's under an NDA, so they can't discuss any findings on the day. But at the end of the day, it's just nice to have that, for sure then that there are the differences that I'm saying there are. Because at the end of the day, I could be telling you absolutely anything. But when you see it with your own two eyes, there's no denying what's going on out there.
And that's going to be the biggest thing for me, obviously, besides me and you having a bit of a sing song. And how many songs do you want me to actually put together?
I think we go for 5 for a start, because we're only originally we were going to do a big old drive, and the more driving that you do, obviously there's more time for sing songs, but literally all of the sing songs that we'd had lined up, no one's got round to, because they're too busy going, I can't believe that that's that, or I can believe that that's that. Or the other day when I was out with Warren, there was a young family at the chargers trying to charge the car, and it just wasn't working for them. So we swiped the charger for them. Thanks, Power, by the way. Laura at Power with me. I've got a new car that's wonderful. I've got a wooden one that's super limited edition. No
They
one
are
can have, but
brilliant.
I've got one, so I was made up with that the other day. Anyway, we swiped it for them, and I just think it's showing people that the charger networks and the people around them are just lovely people, to be fair. Anyway, so we saved them, and Warren got them to join EVA England, I believe. So that was a nice
Good. So
bonus
that's
for
Warren
him as
Phillips
well.
from EVA England. I just thought I'd point that one out. And he's
That's
a
him.
good guy, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely fantastic. And we got along like a house on fire. He had me wearing his hat to keep it warm for him when he went to loo and stuff. So yeah, it was great. So
Always
we
a
had
good
a great
thing.
day out, to be fair, and I think we'll have more days out. But we'll see.
I mean, just kind of you're meeting up with quite a lot of people, and like I say, showing them what you're doing, because it is one of those things that, yeah, until I see it, I won't. I know what kind of I know what you're doing, but I don't know what you're doing. Do you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's gonna be so interesting to see this. It really is.
Well, I was surprised by the number of people that have signed up for it, so I'm pretty much solid booked now. So I've got me year's worth of people, if you like. So the
Wow.
idea boom was to have one person a month, and I'm rocketing through them. So I've got three in the bag now. So you're going to be number four, and then I'm on with Gary Comerford on. I think that's the end of the week. So I'm taking Gary out as well so that he can see what we get up to. So there's plenty in the pipeline, and yeah, I'm just trying to keep people's interest peaked really because like I said in the beginning, it's not exactly the most exciting subject matter,
Wow.
is it?
But so I was going to actually ask you, as kind of going, coming into the business and coming into the sector, and sort of like, your the role that you're in now. You've kind of gone from CTO, so Chief Technical Officer, to CEO. So what kind of leadership lessons have you kind of learnt so far?
Well, I actually went from, so I was brought into this project to evaluate the kit, but also as an operations director. So that was where I started out, and
Wow.
I think leadership wise, I'm okay there. People tend to enjoy working with me, and I think I'm pretty straightforward to deal with as a leader. And then it was quickly gleaned that I was doing a good job with the technology side, so I was then pushed into the CTO role. And then our CEO left due to reasons of ill health. He's a lovely guy, but unfortunately not very well at the moment. So I was
Mm.
then seconded over to that role. So right now I feel like I'm doing the operations role and the CTO role and the CEO role. So I've got a couple of people that we're working with to try and take on more of the CTO stuff. And then I can slip a bit more into the CEO role, really. But I definitely need to have a less busy month in December. I'm absolutely up the wall. Well, I've been up the wall since August, really. And I'm going to ease up a bit in December and start to take my marks a little bit easy. I've just been pretty hard on myself, I'd say. So
Yeah, I was going to
ease
say.
up a bit in December and then we'll see how we go from there.
I was going to ask you what the next milestone is for you, and it's probably December and taking a bit of time off so you can
Gonna say,
see
yeah,
the kids.
well, yeah, because I'm looking at the diary that I've got ahead of me, and it's absolutely rammed, and that is day in, day out. Like yesterday, I was out having a meal with my other half, and I was on messaging, emailing people, and so on it goes. And
Oh,
I'm being told off by the team saying to me, "You need to leave this alone. You know, you're supposed to be off and recuperating." But I'm pretty good with myself. I know when I'm starting to get overwhelmed, so that'll definitely be no, coming into the end of November into December. We'll definitely take a sit back, but we've also then got to catch up with all the other things that have got to catch up on because of all the different hats that I'm wearing, as per earlier conversation. So it'll be fine. We just need to hit the ground running in January, I think, and we'll be all right.
so let's just ask you one final question then. If you were going to leave a legacy behind, in this sector, what legacy would you want to leave?
Accurate charging, fair charging, and but also that people have seen me as being really fair and approachable, and not the boogeyman that some people have probably got me down as. I'm definitely not. It's not how I work. I'm very, very collaborative. And I'm just trying to get the best deal for everybody in the marketplace, really. That's the CPOs and the end users as well.
You're
You
like a
know what I'm
gentle
like.
giant. He's
I'm
how
trying.
tall are you? About 6'5" or 6'4" or
No, I'm not
six
in
foot
it.
something?
You'll find that people tell fibs about the height. Not very often I'm bested with my height, although Mark Constable's definitely considerably taller than I. I think I'm about 6'2.5". I think I used to be
Right,
6'3",
okay.
so I'm slowly shrinking. But I think people think that there's a lot of strangeness going on there with height and things. But
Well,
yeah, I
you and
try to
John
be.
Curtis were next to each other at one point when we were at Everything Electric, and I mean he's tall anyway. So, I didn't, I never. It was funny until I came into this sector. I thought I was quite tall, and then there's just all these flipping giants around me. I'm like 5'8".
Well, John Curtis and I look like brothers from other mothers, didn't we? He just
You did.
needed a beard. I had knee Oakleys on that day as well, so we both looked at very similar. But it made me laugh when he said to me, "What songs are you going to sing?" I literally couldn't think of a single. It was like my brain went, "Whatever songs you're thinking about singing, doing your karaoke, let's just vacuum all of those out your head." And I'm like, I couldn't think, I couldn't have named one song to save my life that day. But like you said earlier, it was the end of a very long week, which was the end of a long month, which has been at the end of a long year. So. Like I say, I'm looking forward to getting some rest and relaxation over December and becoming a bit more myself again, really, because I'm definitely at the ends of my tethers, we'll say, but in a really positive way.
Good, good, and things are moving forward really, really well for you anyway, aren't they? So yeah,
Seems to be that way, yeah. So we
that's
had a bit
good.
of quiet there, but it's definitely taken off now. I'm very happy with our progress.
Brilliant. Well, I'm really looking forward to doing this on Wednesday, and I will be sharing on LinkedIn our photos and whatever we end up doing and where we end up going. So I'm really looking forward to it.
I think we'll have more fun doing that than we've had doing this. Not that this hasn't been fun, but I think we've both been. I'm definitely my natural element out there testing EV chargers. There's no two ways about it. I don't know whether that sounds really sad or really great.
I think it's absolutely fine, love. It's absolutely fine, honestly. But yeah,
All
look,
right.
on that note, I'm just going to say thank you for joining me. And don't ever beat yourself up for coming on your first podcast. That's absolutely, you've been brilliant. So, and
Thank you very much
you
for
are,
inviting me. I'm just, yeah, you know me.
but you're just the nicest guy, And I know you were nervous. So yeah. But you know that I don't, I'm not evil. I'm not horrible. I won't jump down your throat. And I didn't, did I? So there you go.
No, no, you're all day long, as we would say in Liverpool.
Oh, bless you. Well,
I'll
listen,
explain to
so,
you what all day long means when I see you. Come on.
oh, well, look, so on that note, I'm going to say thank you to you. Thank you to Craig
Thank you.
for joining me. I'm going to say to everybody watching and listening, thank you. Please do try and I'll put all your links, Craig, in the show notes. So please do check out EVCI Global. Have a look at what Craig's doing. If there are any CPOs, so charging networks, that are watching or listening, then please get in contact with him, because it's really, really, it's worthwhile. It's really needed, this. Please share, everybody. We've got a LinkedIn page, a podcast page for Electric Evolution. So please do follow us on all of the socials and stuff like that. And on that note, I'm going to say thank you for watching and listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye. Thanks for watching Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. If you've enjoyed this episode, please like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you're a charge point operator, local authority or stakeholder in EV charging, I'd love to talk to you about our Charge Point Evolution framework. It's designed to help you create a seamless EV driver journey, boost utilisation and maximise your return on investment. Alternatively, if you know someone who'd be a great podcast guest or might be interested in sponsoring an episode, you can email me on liz@fullcircleci.co.uk. Thanks again for watching.